You are begging God, show up, arise, oh Lord, let your enemies be scattered. And God is saying, no, you arise. When you arise, I have arisen. Because you don't know who you are. That's why God is in the business of making us. You know, when you are a child, anytime you call on God, he shows up. When you start maturing, when you call on God, God will call on you. You know, when Moses faced the Red Sea, he called on the Lord. And God said, why are you calling on to me? This was the same guy that was in Egypt. He called God 10 times. God showed up 10 times. Now the Egyptians are chasing him, and he stands before the Red Sea, no way forward, and he calls unto the Lord, and the Lord said, why call it unto me? And God said, go forward. Go forward where? There is a sea before me. Should we drown? You can't drown, sir. Don't you know who you are? The rod that you are carrying is for dominion. And God said, stretch forth thy rod. And when Moses stretched it, a mechanism was activated behind the scene. The Bible said, with the blast of his nostrils, he parted the Red Sea. That means God didn't need to come for the Red Sea to pass. How does God part Red Sea? That's what Moses was calling God. Lord, Lord. He said, no, when I sneeze, the Red Sea parts. He said, with a blast of his nostril, he parted the Red Sea. But Moses didn't know that as a glorified being, he was dominion in motion. He didn't know. It took many years for Moses to discover. That's why as you study your Psalms, a point came when Moses understood that glory was dominion. The Bible said when Israel left Egypt, the land of a strange language, it said Judah was his sanctuary. It said Israel was his dominion. It said the sea saw them and fled. It said Jordan went backward. It said the mountains skipped like rams. And it said, oh yeah, sea, why fleddest thou? Oh yeah, mountains, why skippest thou? Oh yeah, Jordan, why goest thou backward? Guess the answer they gave. It said, let the whole earth tremble at the presence of God. Because when Moses is coming, the entourage of heaven is coming. Moses didn't know. When Moses discovered it, Moses went to God, and God said, my angel will go with you. He said, we will not depart from here. If your presence does not go with us, we will not depart. Moses didn't know at first that glory was not about light. He was seeing the Shekinah, but he didn't know the meaning. He thought the Shekinah was about direction. It's beyond direction. It's dominion. When Moses discovered it, Moses entered rest. He entered different cities without fear. And even the nations knew that when Moses comes, God comes. That's why when he entered the territory of Balak, the Bible said Balak didn't rise up to fight him, because this guy is dominion in motion. He said Balak went to look for a man called Balaam. He said whoever Balaam blesses is blessed. Whoever Balaam curses is cursed. Before Balak confronted Israel, Israel didn't have weapons. They didn't have chariots of iron. They didn't have bows. They didn't have arrow. They were just coming with glory. And kings were afraid of them. They had to call Balaam to curse them before they could bring their own army. Their own army had chariots. Their own army had training. Their own army had weapons. But they were afraid of confronting Israel. You know what Balak said? I heard that every city they pass through, they lick it up. And when he brought Balaam, even Balaam didn't know the extent of the dominion of glory. Balaam said, come on, let's do this job quickly and go. Balaam tried divination one time. It didn't work. He tried. It didn't. Imagine, they carried your name to a shrine. They are invoking you. You are sleeping, but it's not working. You are not praying. You are not fasting. They carry you. They bring something from Indian Ocean. They bring something from Sahara Desert. They kill a virgin. They tear the intestine of crocodile. They do the whole conjuring. And when they shouted your name, you were sleeping. Thunder appeared. A point came, Balaam said, there is no enchantment against Jacob. There is no divination against Israel. He said, the shout of the king. Hey. Sahika kora katene kapatala. Varakana sagata. Mahilo talash. There is a level where you seek intervention. You call intercessors. You call prophet. You are doing 7 days vigil. You are pouring oil around your house. That's good. But you see, revelation is in realms. When you know you are a glory carrier, you know you are a system of dominion. The devil will not keep me awake, sir. I sleep because he giveth his beloved sleep. But when I stand up, if I roar, hell shakes. Go call my name in a shrine. See what will appear to you. He said there is no enchantment. He didn't say Israel cannot be enchanted. When they check where they get wars for conjuring, for enchantment, when you call Israel, the place is deleted. That means no weapon of darkness has the potency to hurt you. That's why I said they will come in one way, they will flee in seven. He said, although the enemy comes in like a flood, he said the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against them. He said there's no enchantment against Jacob. There's no divination. You can't enchant me, sir. That utterance does not exist in the demonic coven. He said, gather together, you will scatter. Take counsel together, it will not stand. Speak the word, it shall come to naught. For our God is in our midst. For he maketh the devices, he frustrated the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. See, let something rise in you, sir. You are not ordinary. You are not ordinary. Imagine you go into a shrine and you say, you want to conjure a charm against Angel Michael. No, sir. The shrine will catch fire. Because that being, the shrine doesn't have the sophistication to handle him. But guess what? What you carry is the glory of God himself. There's no shrine that can trap me, sir. What I carry is superior to shrines. This software is too advanced for demonic intelligence.